In this video, I wanted to share my day one Falconer build plans with you guys for the Last Epoch 1.0 launch happening. So when you guys are watching this, it's about to go live and I'm going to be live all day on Twitch with this build. So if I make any adjustments, make sure you come on over there. I'll be happy to answer any sort of questions and let you guys know exactly what I am doing as I am building this. But yeah, that is the plan for when 1.0 goes live. But overall, once I saw the reveal of Falconer, I knew I had to play this class. And then when I was looking through its skills, within our explosive trap skill over here, I saw the node Sky Signal. And I was like, I need to play this because this is going to end up dealing a ton of damage because this can stack an infinite amount of times. So essentially what we're going to be trying to do with this build is get as many explosive traps to detonate in a short amount of time as possible, and then call in a dive bomb and just nuke whatever's in front of us and deal a ton of damage. So I really do think this is something that's going to work out really well, and it's going to be a lot of fun to turn this into a bow skill and have it rain down, and that's also going to go into our Sky Signal. So we're going to go over all of this, but that is the general gist of the build. Now, there is one skill that is going to be kind of swapped out in terms of early game, and then once we get a node in our passive tree, and that's net. You're not going to need this right out of the gate. This is something just a little bit later, because a lot of this is going to be pretty mana hungry, and to get around that early on, you guys are going to be using Flurry and just throw on any sort of attack speed stuff. So like the Adrenaline Rush is going to be your best bet. And then if you combine that with our Rogue skill, Sapping Strikes, you can get health and mana each time you cast that. So you spam all the explosives and your dive bomb, and then use your Flurry to gain all of that mana back so you can do it again. But eventually we won't need to do that. So overall, that's going to be what I'm going for with this build. Another thing I wanted to note, if you guys are going to be looking at the build planner that I have linked in the description, all of the gear here, obviously I don't actually have that right now. This is all just stuff that I want to be looking for. So if you guys are trying to set up your loot filter, this is going to be roughly what you're looking for. This is all like mid-tier gear. Our chest piece is a little high level. Obviously, if you aren't that high level yet, swap it out for something else that's going to help you out, like the Outcast coat, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You guys are going to be getting gear as you go, and just look for the best that you have available at that time. But I just wanted to go over that in terms of the gear that I have on here. Same thing with the idols. Just put on whatever you have best bet. But the main part of this video is going to be going over our passives and our skills. So let's go ahead and start off with the skills. Like I said, Explosive Trap, Sky Signal is going to be our main focus with this build. And we're going to get a ton of our cooldowns back, so we can get those going whenever our explosive traps detonate. And essentially what we're going to be doing is stacking up as many traps as possible. So I believe this should give us 12 traps just between these two nodes right here and the base skill. And then those are going to have a chance to drop even more and basically be guaranteed is what it's looking like here. And it is going to cost a little bit more mana, so that's where I was saying this will be mana hungry early on and why we're going to end up using a generator. But there will be a passive node in the actual Falconer nodes that is going to really help us out and give us a ton of mana back. I believe Explosive Trap should end up giving us mana eventually, so that will be really nice for our spamming and making sure we can always cast our skills. But right now, that's currently what I'm planning for Explosive Trap. Dive Bomb, the other main skill. I'm just going to be grabbing all of the multiplicative damage that I can. So Dazed Prey, Devastating Strike, Rushing Wings, a little bit of cooldown here just so we can spam it more. Focus Hunter, I'm grabbing Rapid Pursuit, and then just getting over to Talon Knives here so it can benefit from our weapon stats. And then for Falconry, this is just obviously so our Falcon can be doing things between dive bombs. But the main portion down here is going to end up being Trained to Hunt, go for the eyes, and expose weakness. This way we can give it a portion of all of our damage. So we're actually going to be able to do damage with our explosive traps and all of that stuff and give all of that to our Falcon. So that's why the scaling on this is just going to be insane and why I think it's going to be doing so much damage. We're going to have it do more damage to moving targets, just overall more damage, and we can give it more damage per level and per dex. Like, there's just so much scaling for our Falcon. Another 105% to mark targets. We can get some more cast speed for ourselves, and our Falcon gets more chance to do it, and all of our character damage is then put into our Falcon damage. So that's what I'm saying. It just keeps scaling over and over and over and over for our Falcon, and why I think it's going to be so powerful. Now, looking at aerial assault, this is going to be our main like traversal skill, just because it can pick us up, move us around. So we are going to be speccing it a little bit more into like the support and movement side. So we're going to be grabbing some travel speed and giving us some cooldown, all of that stuff. Also, it's going to proc some caltrops for us, just so we can slow some enemies down and deal a little bit more with it. And then it's also going to be boosting up our damage. So we're going to be getting a ton of extra damage for our Falcon out of here once we get Terror Wings. So we're going to be stacking this up, and since we're going so much into cast speed, this should be very easy to stack. So you'll basically go in with aerial assault, spam your explosive traps, and then dive bomb, and that'll be roughly your rotation. So for our passives, I have it set up just for level 100. This is what I eventually plan on building into. I'll tell you exactly what to focus on as you guys are leveling up. But for the actual rogue, the 20 points that we need in rogue, I just do steady hand and then go through guile to get evasion and agility, and then sapping strikes when we're using the generator of flurry. Once you guys swap off of flurry, you can drop this for like dodge and parry, anything like that, or if you want a little bit more attack speed. But we should have enough attack speed later on that you won't need that. I would probably put it in dodge and parry. I do have 25 points into marksman right now, just because you get some crit avoidance, and some crit chance, bow physical, armor shred, and also some health and more attack speed. Don't focus on this right now. That'll be like at the very end. Just focus straight into Falconer, because the thing you're going to want to beeline as quick as you can is blast radius. This is what it's going to allow us to drop our generator and move on over to net, because all of these traps, whenever they detonate, are going to give us 1 mana. So if this works how I think it's going to work with explosive trap, obviously we have the cost with it, but besides that, it's going to end up giving us about 24 mana, I believe, per cast, which will end up being a net gain in mana per cast of explosive trap. So that's really going to help us out and allow you guys to just spam all of your explosive traps and dive bombs. So hopefully that ends up working. And also I have stamina of the rover here, so you get that mana on dodge to help out a little bit more, also with the mana regen. So that's currently what I have planned in terms of the mana sustain. Otherwise, I just grab Ranger's Mark, Raptor Wings, Handler, Tactician. I grab 1 point into Evasion Tactics for Relentless Talons. I have a little bit of block chance into the Glancing Blow chance up here into Deflect the Weave. Otherwise, I throw 1 point into Final Souvenir, so I can put the 3 points into Strike Their Flank, so we get that more damage on the slows. We also gain the health gain on crit avoidance, and our minion is going to be getting some critical multiplier over here on finesse them. So that's going to be the main like capstone one that you're going to want to focus on. And then I would do strike their flank, and then I just have a point into here with tailwind. Otherwise, needle like precision for the crit chance and crit multi. And then I do have expediency for the haste effect and duration, just so we can be moving around quicker. This game is all about speed, so you want to be moving as quick as you can, and it pairs with some other stuff like the increased damage per movement speed. Quickly just going over my ideal gear with this setup. For the bow, the big thing I would look for would be like crit chance and multi here on the Dreadthorn. This you can get at level 74, so it's not like too late, but otherwise just look for your next best bet over here. There's a ton of other options. But then the affixes, the crit chance and bow attack speed is going to be incredibly important, because if it works how I think it's going to with the Talon knives here, it's going to gain 150% of that. So I believe that means Dive Bomb would get 7.5% base crit chance, which I'm praying it works that way. So we could essentially get guaranteed crits on our Dive Bomb. So that would be huge. Otherwise, just damage while wielding a bow, dexterity, minion damage, attack speed, minion crit chance, more crit multi, just because it's going to inherit that from us. Damage while wielding bow. Also, chance to slow on bow hit is going to be nice for the end of our passives tree. Minion, physical damage, obviously movement speed on our boots, and then just fitting hybrid health and some resistances where you can, and then some turquoise rings here to help out our Falcon a bit more. And then the idols that I'm currently looking at using would be bow attack speed when you use a bow attack. So on our first one, obviously this can only happen every 10 seconds, but it would be really nice for like the first round of a boss. You can get a ton of bow attack speed and just spam out a ton of traps and then dive bomb with the max amount of the stacks that you can. And then I just filled it in with some single slots here. But that's currently what I have planned in terms of gear and my build here on day one. This is obviously going to be changing a lot as I get gear. I don't have any uniques in this yet, so there's a lot more that can be done. And I'm excited to see what we can actually turn it into once we get our hands on the game. So if this is a build that you are excited about trying out, make sure you come on over to the stream, ask me any sort of questions. I'm going to be updating this all the time tomorrow. Well, today at the time of you guys watching this. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this quick little theory craft. I really do hope this ends up working out how I think it will, but I would imagine it's going to end up dealing a ton of damage, and I'm really excited to find out. But if you guys are interested in more Last Epoch content, want to see the final versions of this build when it's ready, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Also consider leaving a thumbs up on the video to let me know. But thank you all for watching this far in the video. I hope you all enjoy the full launch of Last Epoch. This is seriously one of my favorite games right now. But anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.